So we're right now trying to bring in legislation from really all over the country so that it can be, one step ahead of the game as having been vetted from, other legislative perspectives across the nation. We recognize that this has been attempted in the past here in the state, but think that the conditions are right now that would help to benefit this legislation. So we're in the process of trying to put together the best parts of bills that we've seen across the nation.
And is that just kind of a flat ban on the use of cameras at intersections, or what are you kind of thinking generally?
Well, obviously we recognize that there are contractual agreements that have been let, all across the state by different municipalities, and we're obviously going to have to deal with that. But what we want to go ahead and do is set a stake in the ground to say that red light cameras, speed cameras, unmanned, note you, are not welcome in this state, and not welcome for a multitude of reasons, and we can step through a couple of those. I think the most important thing that we need to realize is that in their current form, unmanned speed and red light cameras, I believe, abridge the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution pretty clearly. But there are many arguments in addition to that I think need to be considered as well. Arguments that have been posed to me by law enforcement themselves in a private manner. I've had numerous contacts from highway patrolmen, from county sheriff's deputies, also from city police officers as well, to talk about how demoralizing these cameras are to them and their performance, what they were commissioned to do. They are not really in the process of doing their commission duties when they're sitting behind a camera or sitting at a desk, marking off on these. And one of the things that I guess has been most shocking to me is from a policeman's perspective, the fact that these are not a legitimate substitute to real law enforcement. So from the constitutional perspective, from the police officer's perspective, from the fact that, it's not uncommon that 2/3 of this revenue that's being generated is sent out of the state. So we're imposing this pseudo tax on our citizens, but then we're taking and turning around and sending 2/3 of the revenue out of state. That's a real problem for me. I believe that the basis of these cameras really is based on a profit motive, a revenue generation motive, more than a safety motive. I hear people say, well, there's empirical data that would provide evidence that these have reduced traffic fatalities, traffic accidents, traffic whatever else. And I can rebut that by saying, I promise you I can pay for a research study that would say I'm the best looking legislator in the state of Tennessee. Oftentimes, unfortunately, we design information to get the outcome that we want to achieve. So for every study that says these have reduced traffic fatalities or reduced infractions, I can show you another study that would show that accidents have actually increased. So whether it's a net neutral result or whether they actually do decrease or increase traffic accidents, the basis is this is not a good substitute for law enforcement, and this is an unconstitutional action unto itself. And we hope that there's not only a substantive discussion, but a potential ban that will come out of this session as well.